Good evening and welcome to West Lafayette, Indiana, here at Folk Field. The Purdue Boilermakers finishing out their 2017 regular season campaign, hosting the Maryland Terrapins. I'm Connor Hoke. This is Big Ten Women's Soccer on BTN Student U. Tonight, a big match for the Boilermakers, it being the final match of the season, but also some serious Big Ten tournament implications heading into this final match. But first, senior forward Maddie Williams being honored at the beginning of the match today. The all-time leading goal scorer in Purdue history. Take a look at her season stats this year. 12 goals, 8 assists, 27 shots on goal, 36 career goals for Maddie Williams, and 26 career assists. You can argue one of the best offensive players in program history. You can see the teammates very excited there. The Boilermakers tonight, though, looking to pick up a victory in the home whites. The Terrapins looking to finish strong after a tough conference slate. Maryland comes in 1-7-2 on the year in the Big Ten, while the Boilermakers sit at 4-4-2. For Purdue, tonight is about taking care of business. A win or a tie will put Purdue into the top 8, which will be good enough to send them to the Big Ten tournament for the first time since 2008. As you take a look at Maddie Williams there wearing the neon yellow captain's armband, the Boilermakers in the home whites. As we take a look at the Folk Field in wonderful condition this evening. Only really one lineup change for the Boilermakers tonight. Erica Yan, the senior, stepping in goal. She played last match against Penn State. That was a 2-2 tie for the Boilermakers. Put them in the position they are tonight, where it is win and get in. As the Terrapins come to midfield. As we get ready for the start, it will be Maryland kicking off, and we are underway for the final match of the season for the Purdue Boilermakers. Already we have a substitution as Jenna Surdick will check out. And will come in Katie Badham as Jan gets it to Haas. Boilermakers with both these teams in similar positions. Maryland, even though the record does not suggest it, has played tough all season. They are a team under Ray Leone in his second season, kind of where the Boilermakers were last year under Coach Drew Roth. A young team, a big freshman class, and a lot of those freshmen getting on the field for the Terrapins this season, and the hopes is that pays off next year, kind of like it has for the Boilermakers, as you see Hannah Melchiori with the ball, and she'll have it knocked away. In the back line there by Surdick. So it will be a corner for the Boilermakers. First corner of the night. Sarah Clark with the kick. Clark has been their corner specialist all season. And she'll put it in low. Nobody home. As Clark is able to win it from Badham. They're going to say that's out off of Clark, so it will be Terrapins' ball, will be a goal kick. As Rachel Egyed is in goal for the Terrapins. Egyed, a 5'7" redshirt junior from Clifton, New Jersey. One of the few non-underclassmen on this roster. Mostly freshmen and sophomores this season for the Terrapins. Vanessa Krolos with it for the Boilermakers. Tries to put a move on. As Julia New with it, has it poked away. Boilermakers now with the possession. This is a Maryland offense that has struggled in Big Ten play. Only 4 goals all season in the Big Ten. As now Griffith with it, has it poked away. Turner with it for the Terrapins. Sends it long for Steer. As will be cleared out by Maya Lambert. Now Andrea Petrino with it. Petrino, another outstanding senior for the Boilermakers this season. Really her and Maddie Williams have been the two. As would have been offsides for Williams, so she does not give chase. But both Petrina and Williams have been kind of the catalyst of this turnaround for the Boilermakers this season. Purdue coming into this match 9-6-2 this season. A remarkable jump from the 2016 campaign. As the Terrapins trying to work it around. Ball taken away by Haas. Now Melchiori with it. She'll cross it to Griffith. Griffith gets it to Musellum. And a nice touch there by Musellum, but it's knocked away by Jalen Flippins. Turner working with it. And she'll keep it on the ground towards Jan, and Jan will just put the right boot on it to stop it. Not much of a challenge there from Maryland, as early on in this first half we were deadlocked at 0. As that ball will go out of play off the Terrapins, will be a quick throw in for the Boilermakers. Petrino with it on the far side. Gets it to Haas in the middle. Kylie Haas, another freshman who has been an instant impact player for the Boilermakers, a high energy, physical player who's provided a lot of stability and a presence in the middle of the field all season long. Turner with it. Trying to get it to Steyer. Steyer has it taken away by the taller Corollas. Petrino with it on the far side. Trying to thread the needle to Maddie Williams, but not able to get it past that stout Maryland back line. Haas with it. Nice move by Flippins. Flippins trying to get some life into this Maryland attack with a nifty move on the ball, as Maryland changing possession. Steyer with it. Now trying to get it up to Turner. Petrino with the long ball, trying to find Melchiori. Melchiori is able to get to it. She'll drop it back for Musellum. Musellum puts it into the middle of the field. Petrino able to get a piece of it, not able to get the ball headed towards the goal on the shot. Nice job by the Terrapins on that back line. There's Christic with it. Purdue trying to go for that home run shot early on. Haas with it, midfield. Gets it to Melchiori. Melchiori, the speedster. Has been that third offensive look for the Boilermakers. Is Griffith too strong with the ball? Be a goal kick now for Egid. Griffith with it for the Boilermakers. Gets it to Masellam on the near side. Masellam tries to get it to Melchiori. Nice job by Surdick, able to track that down for the Terrapins. As Maya Lambert will just drop it back to Erica Yan. Now a long ball from Masellam off the mark. Boilermakers trying to test that back line early and often here in the first half. As Anissa Mose has that poked away. Be a throw in now for the Terrapins. As a misplay there by Maryland's going to result in a throw in deep in attacking territory for the Boilermakers. Corollas to make the throw from the far side. She gets it to Williams. Williams tries to one-touch it to Griffith, but it's off the mark. Now, ball played too long there by Maryland. It's going to be Jan with it now. Off her line, but out making the play. Griffith with it in the midfield. As Lambert able to get it up to Melchiori. Melchiori tries to make the pass, but it's off the foot. And that will be cleaned up by Egid. As Flippins was there, Melchiori trying to make the play, but it hit the back of Flippins' heel and kicked forward. Melchiori with a good chance, but not able to get enough of it to challenge Egid. As Corollas gets the cross, Maddie Williams with it, fakes out the defender, puts the left foot on it, and it is in. A goal for Maddie Williams, the all-time scoring leader for Purdue, adds another one. Her 13th goal of the season. A nifty move here on the excellent cross from Corollas. Gets Surdick turned around and then just puts it in the bottom right corner of the net. The Boilermakers strike early in their final match of the regular season. And so now Maryland in a hole. Impressive play there by the Boilermakers. They've been applying the pressure early against teams in the Big Ten, trying to get on the board first, and Maddie Williams able to do so on the excellent assist from Corollas. And so now with the 1-0 lead, Williams with it for the Boilermakers. Tries to flip it up to Petrino. Petrino chasing it down, able to win the ball, but it's going to go off the back line. And it appears to be we're going to say it went off of a Maryland Terrapin. From where I sit, it looks like that went off of Petrino, but they're going to give the Boilermakers the corner. So Purdue with a chance to add to their lead. So Clark with it. She'll keep it on the ground. As Lambert comes up, tries to get a piece of it, but they're going to rule a handball on Jalen Flippins, who came up to block the shot attempt from Lambert. So the Boilermakers with the free kick just outside the box and another opportunity to add a goal. As Petrino will take the shot, almost gets it by, and then Kylie Haas close on the follow-up as Egged wasn't able to keep it cleanly, and it rolled out away from her. And Haas with a chance to make this 2-0, but misses just left. As we take a second look at the piece here, Petrino with that big, powerful leg, able to get the deflection, and Haas knows she missed a golden opportunity to give the Boilermakers a 2-goal lead early on in this one. And so now the Terrapins need to respond. This is a team that has struggled offensively in the Big Ten, but a breakthrough could be needed here. As a couple nice moves by Turner, able to get by Corollas, but Clark there to knock the ball away, so it will be the Terrapins' corner. Looking to pick up the equalizer. Hope Lewandowski with the corner kick for the Terrapins. She'll put it into the box, and Haas will clear it out. And now Melchiori with it. Crosses it to Petrino, and now the Boilermakers looking to be aggressive here. A long ball played to Williams. Williams with the tap, it's loose, and Melchiori will take the shot, but it's no good. A nice ball from Petrino, an even better touch than from Williams. As we take a second look at it here, is Egged outstretching for it, not able to secure it, and Melchiori just missing on the right post. So that's the second time that the Boilermakers have almost put a goal away, but just missed early on in this match. So Sarah Clark with the corner. That ball long. Selm's able to get it. Now Griffith with it. She'll take the shot, but it'll be blocked off the body of a Terrapin. As a nice ball in to Maddie Williams, but Williams not able to keep it down as it floats over the crossbar and out of play. So a couple good opportunities early for the Boilermakers, already with a 1-goal lead thanks to Maddie Williams' goal in the 33rd minute. As Egged with it for the Terrapins. As Gabby Lemire getting called for the handball. Lemire, another senior on this Boilermaker team. As that ball goes out of play, it will be a throw in for the Terrapins. Darby Moore with the throw in. Taking the gloves off. It is a little bit chilly here tonight at Folk Field. It's a clear night, but it is a brisk October fall in West Lafayette. Is there the attempt from Turner, cleaned up by Jan. As Haas with it now for the Boilermakers, and that one goes off the foot of Musselman out of play. Throw in for Surdick. As she tried to get it to Turner. Turner not able to keep it away from Erica Jan, who sends it back towards the midfield. Melchiori now with it near side. And some space for the speedster from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Working against Terrapins. As Petrino not able to keep that away from Badham. Haas with it. Lemire in the midfield. If you're just joining us, Maddie Williams, who was honored as the all-time leading scorer in Purdue history, tacking on another goal to her impressive resume, scoring in the 33rd minute, giving the Boilermakers the lone goal in this match. They lead 1-0. And of course, as far as Big Ten tournament implications go for Purdue, all they need to do is win or tie, and they will reach the Big Ten tournament for the first time since 2008. Would be obviously the first time that this coaching staff or anyone on this roster has been to the Big Ten tournament. And for Coach Roth in his third season to go from a team that, much like Maryland last year, struggled to a Big Ten postseason team would be a huge lift for his program, as Lambert wasn't able to get a piece of that. Kylie Haas just has to send it out of bounds. So it will be a throw in for Surdick and the Terrapins. Misplay will lead to another throw in. That was Darby Moore. Petrino with it, trying to get it to Williams, not able to do so as Badham able to make a play on the ball. Clark with it, gets it up over the head of Badham to Williams. Williams far side, crosses it in, and I think they're going to rule Anna Melchiori offsides. So it will be a goal kick now for Egan. Now Terrapins looking to try and find the equalizer here with 23 minutes and change left to go in the first half. As Griffith with it far side, makes a play past Badham. Not able to do much with it after that, as Rutgers able to stop another attack for the Boilermakers. 7 total shots, 3 corner kicks for Purdue so far in the first half to 3 shots and 1 corner for Maryland. Gets that ball out of the reach of any friendly players, and Purdue will just drop it back to Erica Jan and goal. Let her distribute it. Yana, somebody who was a part of what was the revolving door at goal last season for the Boilermakers, but then Katie Luce came in as a freshman and was able to secure the starting goalkeeper spot for most of the season. But last match against Penn State, Jan came in and was impressive in what was a 2-2 tie for Purdue, and now Jan getting the start yet again tonight. A senior who has seen a lot of minutes in goal at the Big Ten level. A nice steady presence for Purdue between the pipes. As Darby Moore will have to go up and force Jan to pick up the ball. Purdue content just to kill time with the 1-0 lead. As Lewandowski with it. Far side for the Terrapins. Boilermakers back into their attacking half. As Sullen with the cross, it's not able to be really picked up by anybody. Now Purdue with it yet again. Both teams been a little off on gauging where the ball's going to be and how quickly it might be there, as Williams making a run at it. But Eggett able to get there before the senior phenom can make a play on the ball. This Bermuda grass, is we've talked about numerous broadcasts before, it's quick, it's a fast surface to play on, and if you're not accustomed to it, you may not be ready for the speed of which the ball's going to come at you or get away from you. As Masalam with it. Gives it to Melchiori. Melchiori right side. Working against Surdick. And Melchiori will have the ball knocked away, but they're going to say it went off of her. And so it will be a goal kick for the Terrapins. Throw in for Terrapins. Bedham with it. Tries to get it to Turner. As it looks like they're going to call a foul on Maryland. Some physical play there near midfield. Quick play here from the Boilermakers. Purdue content just to continue to run down clock with their 1-0 lead. With it for Purdue in midfield, gives it to Haas. Haas looking to attack, a little bit of room to work, gets it to Melchiori on the right side. Back to Masalam, now back to Melchiori. And Surdick able to get to it, but loses control of it. Now Masalam with it for Purdue. Masalam tried to drop it all the way back to Lemire. Turner able to come up and make a play on it for the Terrapins. As that ball from Surdick too long, Jan will just scoop it up, continue to kill a little bit more time for Purdue here in the first half. As Jan with it, under 18 to play in the first half. 8 shots for the Boilermakers, 3 corners for Purdue. They have done their best to keep the ball in their attacking half against Maryland, as they know that all they have to do is walk out of here with the victory and they can be in the postseason.
It's a tough spot for Maryland to be in, no doubt, coming in bottom of the table in the Big Ten and playing a team that is desperate for a result. You know, you got one side just playing out the string and the other side who has to win at their home field.
But at the same time, no pressure necessarily on Maryland. This game, there's no reason to be uptight.
Absolutely.
And unlike the Boilermakers, who a little bit more at stake, but Maddie Williams, who was honored before the match as the all-time goal scorer in Purdue history, tagging on another one early on in this first half. She has been impressive in her 4 seasons that she's played at Purdue, and the presence of Maddie Williams this season has been a big reason why the Boilermakers have had the turnaround that they've had this year.
For sure, reigning Big Ten player of the offensive player of the week with those 2 goals at Penn State last week, last Friday night. Huge result. The Boilermakers got the draw, and there's Erica Jan, who also had a great game in Happy Valley.
Yeah, Jan, a senior goalkeeper who has played quite a bit in her career, but this season has not seen as much time, but was able to come in against Penn State and then come in today as well. And as Melchiori with a nice move, tries to cross it in, not able to do anything with it.
Everything but the final touch there from Melchiori. A long run, a sweet move to get past the defender, and just couldn't quite get enough on the cross. So we take another look at the shot on Jan.
Yep, as you can see there, that's Lewandowski with the shot. As for the Boilermakers, Maddie Duncan coming in.
That was one of those dangerous balls into the near the 6-yard box that maybe it's a shot, maybe it's a cross, but if you don't come snuff it out as the keeper, you're doing your job wrong.
Griffith not able to get there in time on the touch from Petrino.
Coach Drew Ruff addressed the Erica Jan playing time and being able to step in, and he said really what he's been most impressed with is that she continued to improve. She knew she wasn't playing that much this season, but she got better in practice. And he said just that simple fact proved to him that, man, she cared. She's not going to wilt under pressure. He just had a feeling going into that game. Katie Luce hadn't done anything wrong, but he made the change because he knew Jan would step up to it, and she certainly did.
As that one from Griffith, not able to find a friendly boot. But yeah, and that's what has made this senior class so special this season. The production, even somebody like Erica Jan who hasn't played, her ability to step in a tight spot, because going to the not so friendly confines of Happy Valley or State College is not exactly a prime spot to really get your first minutes of the season, especially in the Big Ten.
First Big Ten team to score multiple times at Happy Valley. First Big Ten team to get a result, to come away with a point. Those were very big accomplishments for this Purdue program.
As Clark with it. The touch from Williams.
Almost a little bit too cute by half there by Maddie Williams. There's a one-touch to Petrino.
And Petrino trying to cross it into Melchiori, and Melchiori not able to get there in time. An excellent ball control by the Boilermakers, trying to set up that second goal.
It sure was, and Maddie Williams, I thought, took a chance with that first one touch. The second one is perfect, and Petrino, I'm surprised, didn't just rip one. Looking to take care of her teammate a little bit. Didn't quite connect, and another great opportunity. They keep getting those. There's not going to be a 1 on the scoreboard for the rest of the night.
We've seen Purdue 2 or 3 times in the first half just miss, but they've got the one that they need right now.
It's pretty common knowledge among this team. It's not true of every striker, but among this team, they would rather assist a teammate than score a goal themselves. There's kind of a little friendly competition amongst them, too. to have the best assist, and Andrea Petrino's trying to notch one more there.
That's why this team has been so dangerous. Just to put it into comparison, Maddie Williams, who we talked about, obviously a special offensive player, 13 goals so far this season, including the one that she has tonight. Last season as a team, Purdue scored 15 goals.
Man.
Last season, just as a team,
yeah,
everybody.
Total.
So
I witnessed most of last season, and
as did
that
I.
is true.
As did I. I can confirm that goals were few and far between at times last year for the Boilermakers, but that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
You take a look at a team like Maryland, who comes in 1-7-2, only 4 goals in conference play, but not that different from the Boilermakers last year. A ton of freshmen, playing a ton of freshmen and sophomores. This is a team that you figure with Coach Leone are set up for the future, even if it isn't even if you're not seeing the results right away.
Absolutely, it takes patience when you're in the rebuilding mode, as most programs in the Big Ten have learned. There's a couple that doesn't apply to. Katie Stevens entered, Melchiori out for Purdue a moment ago.
As we're now under the 11.5-minute mark left in the first half. This is about the time we see both teams get some substitutions into the game. Clark with it. Purdue has stayed aggressive, but for the most part has been pretty contentious to keep the ball at midfield and melt the clock down, especially against a team like Maryland, who has struggled offensively this season. I don't think that there's quite the sense of urgency that we need to put 2 or 3 goals on the Terrapins, make them score one against you first.
Yeah, just 16 goals for Maryland on the season. Very, as you said, even statistically very similar to where Purdue was last year. And a late challenge there on Carolus.
And if you are a Terrapin fan tuning in today, first off, thank you for joining us here in West Lafayette. But secondly, maybe this is a Purdue team that kind of gives you a sense of hope with your own program of, okay, this year's not been great, but it only takes 1 year to turn it around.
That's true. It takes one class, one group of difference makers to come in and get a little growth. And
as Petrino with it, she's going to take the shot, and looks like that went off the back of Flippins for the Terrapins.
That looks painful. I hope she's okay.
Yeah, she looked like she had turned her back to mark Maddie Williams, and that ball found the back of Flippins, as it will be a throw-in for Corliss and the Boilermakers.
Petrino's got some pop on that shot from distance too.
Yes, that's not a ball that's hitting anybody lightly.
Slick footwork there by Asalom.
Petrino with it.
Haas kind of posting up at the top of the box. Now it's Stevens.
Stevens trying to make a play against Surdick. And looks like they're going to say it went off of Stevens last. Katie Stevens, a player who's come in off the bench and has provided plenty of energy for the Boilermakers this season.
Yeah, I tried to run it past her defender and scoop past her on the other side. Just didn't have the right angle to run that little play. Good control by Griffith. And Purdue just continues to dominate possession in the offensive zone.
Which is exactly how Coach Roth and the Boilermakers want to play. They want it to be, we're going to spend all 90 minutes, and you're attacking half, and we're going to put pressure on you. And it may take 25 shots to score 3 goals, but we're fine with that.
Yeah. Good things happen when you throw the ball toward the net. Kick the ball toward the net. Illegal things happen when you throw it toward the net.
Yes. Change of possession. Sometimes it's about quantity, not necessarily quality.
Right.
As that touch from Haas off the mark.
last Friday night at Penn State, it was all about quality. 4 shots, 2 goals. That's, boy, if you can convert on that over the course of a season at 50%, you're doing something special.
I think that any coach in the country would tell you that if they could make 50% of the goals they attempt, they would feel good about their prospects to win a national title. As Brian Robbins and Brady Riley checking in for the Boilermakers.
And Griffith called for the contact there. Turn it over to Maryland, who will take they'll take a beat here and try and get some numbers forward and immediately turn it over.
As Flippin's not able to keep that in play, Zoe Clark now in for the Terrapins as well.
Frustrating there for Flippin. She was trying to go to run somebody deep. It didn't really look like there was a body there. Even if it had been in, it would have been turned over to the Purdue defense. Oh, nice move on the edge there by Zoe Clark.
And she'll be awarded as there'll be a foul on Solemn.
Clark pushing forward. Redshirt senior from New York, New York. City so nice they named it twice.
A lot of East Coast natives on this Terrapin roster.
Flippin's actually cheated herself out of a couple yards there with the placement of that free kick. Well, that ball looked like it was trying to be cleared out by Musellum.
A little side spin.
It curved in.
As now the Boilermakers with the chance. Nice play by Flippins.
Maryland trying to counter the counter. Almost got very fortunate there.
Maryland's problem early on in this first half, they just haven't been able to string together enough touches to put some pressure on the Boilermakers. Only 4 shots to Purdue's 9.
Nice crowd on hand for this regular season finale here at Folk Field. I'd venture to call it the most important game Folk Field's seen in several years.
Certainly the most important game since they've named it.
Yes.
Folk Field.
The ball goes out over near the Boilermaker special. Throw into the Terps.
You know it's a special big-time match when the Boilermaker special is making an appearance. And as I look out across, it looks like the extra special is there as well.
The all-new extra special.
As that ball will go into the stadium stands.
You know, I'd blame the wind, but those flags are hanging limp right now.
It's about as windy out there as it is in here in the booth. Although it is a great deal warmer
yes.
in the booth. We're opting not to go windows open tonight.
You're weak.
That's fine. I'm also warm, so I will take it. As you can see, a number of the players out there with the black gloves on, as a nice move out on the edge by Stevens.
She's just a half beat away there. A couple times now we've seen from Katie Stevens, who another one of the promising young members of this team, a freshman from Oceanport, New Jersey. Wanted to get away from the East Coast.
So I'm sure knows the Terrapins quite well. .320 left to play in the first half. The Boilermakers with the 1-goal lead. Haas finds Riley. Riley with the touch. Tries to get it to Robbins, but not able to do so. And Haas will get the throw in. No, they're going to say it was off of Haas.
I'm not sure how. That was a great touch by Riley to a streaking Robbins.
As Flippins is going to throw it in for the Terrapins. Sarah Clark with it. Little touch on that pass. Physical play as Zoe Clark will send one towards the goal.
That ball had a pretty brisk little skip there. Jan was on it, but
it did look like it surprised Jan a little bit.
Troublesome.
It's one that if it Billy Buckner's you and goes between the legs, that's going to end up being one that's would hurt.
You have a very different halftime in about 2 minutes.
Yes. The Coach Roth's conversation with the team is vastly different as Ina Sabaganic will check in now for the Boilermakers. Out comes Griffith.
Sabaganic would have been in a couple minutes ago, but she was taking off about 4 layers in order to get down to her kit.
Talking with a couple members of the staff then in the staff working the event, they were trying to find as many layers as they could to put on, as it is cool here at Full Field tonight.
And I see the radio crew opted to go with the windows open in the booth next door to us, thereby punishing everyone in the game operations booth.
Be interesting to see if that window stays open during halftime, as we are now under a minute to play. Clark with it. Really the last time for Rutgers to try and find the equalizer here in the first half. As Duncan will flip sides of the field, but Masalam loses it. Surdick with it and space to work down the near side. Trying to get numbers.
Good chance for the Terps here. Great build-up on short time. They can throw numbers forward because there's no danger.
20 seconds remain, and they're going to call that out. It will be a corner for the Terrapins. 15 seconds. They've got to get set quickly. And that one will go into Vanessa Corollas, who will clear it. So the Terrapins will not be able to put an equalizer on the board. The lone goal scored in the first 45 minutes of play comes from Maddie Williams, who tacks on her 13th goal of the season, and the Boilermakers head into the half up 1. You're watching Big Ten Women's Soccer on BTN Student U. And coming out of halftime, the Purdue Boilermakers leading 1-0 thanks to Maddie Williams. The lone goal in the first half. The Boilermakers looking to close out their regular season with a victory. As we take a look at this goal, it was a beautiful piece of ball movement from Purdue as Corollas was able to get the cross in, and Williams with the fake, and then with the left foot able to put it in the back of the net. Impressive play by Purdue, and this is the lone goal in the game, and that was in the 33rd minute. Purdue's had a couple opportunities since then, but not able to get anything to drop so far, as we see both teams getting warmed up, ready for the next 45 minutes. We take a look at the Big Ten standings tonight, a big one for the Boilermakers. You can see them there between Nebraska and Michigan. Michigan fell to Rutgers earlier today. For the Boilermakers, they need to win or tie this match in order to get into the Big Ten tournament. If they do end up losing and Iowa wins, Iowa will knock the Boilermakers out of it, but Purdue, with a win or a tie, guaranteed at least the 8th seed in the Big Ten tournament. As second half play is underway. And you can see Jan with it. The Boilermakers looking to close out tonight's victory, and for Maryland would be a good way to finish the season if they're able to come back and pick up the W, but they'll have to get a little bit more going offensively in the second half than they had going in the first half, Corey, if they're going to have the opportunity to pick up a W tonight against the Boilermakers.
For sure. It won't be hard to get much more going than they had in the first half. Just 4 shots, 2 corner kicks. 3 shots were on goal. So that's a couple saves for the Boilermakers. And actually, Erica Jan recorded more saves than her counterpart, Rachel Aged, did.
Yeah, the Boilermakers had a couple really good opportunities to tack on goals to this lead, but just missed left and right of the net. Weren't able to get them on goal. But Purdue with nine total shots, 2 corners in that first half. It's been an impressive first half for Purdue.
Absolutely, and really tacking on a second goal would just about guarantee your fate at this point. Purdue a win or a draw away from the Big Ten tournament. If they can get something else here, since they came up empty in the first half, the longer this stays 1-0, the more confidence that sort of gives Maryland. They are, one score away from getting a result in their own right, which means a lot at this point in the season.
Yeah, and if you're the Boilermakers, especially you think back to that Nebraska match where Purdue was able to come out in the second half, score 2 quickly, but they weren't able to put away Nebraska, and that ended up coming back to bite them in overtime. There's just been a couple times that Purdue has been able to either tie it or get up with a lead early, and they've not been able to put away an opponent. So for Coach Roth and the Boilermakers, you want to try to add 1 or 2 more goals and put Maryland away and get into the Big Ten tournament.
Going all the way back to the non-conference, the Boilermakers led Loyola Marymount in the 83rd minute and lost 2-1. They surrendered the ultimate game tying goal to Penn State last week with under 5 minutes to go in regulation. They've had a couple games, like you said, slip away. They led at Cincinnati in the second half, lost that one 2-1. You never take anything for granted at this level.
And that's something that can get into your head, especially as a team once you've done it a couple times. If you give up the tying goal now you're down maybe a little bit, as Corliss wasn't able to get that back to Maddie Williams for the shot attempt.
And here again, Purdue being very unselfish, maybe too unselfish on some of these opportunities.
And we talked about it. The Boilermakers love to try and set their teammates up. Sometimes that can come, though, at the cost of taking a good shot. Some contact down on the end line, and it's going to be Maryland possession.
Looks like a foul on Griffith.
This freshman class, they are very physical. They're not afraid to mix it up. They're not really afraid of anybody, as evidenced by that last match, able to go into Penn State and tie what is traditionally and this year once again a very good Big Ten soccer program.
Now that said, the Boilermakers, if they finish, well, we got something brewing here for Maryland.
As Turner has a chance, Jan loses it. Turner takes the shot but just misses off the left post. A mistake there by Jan. Jan's not happy with the official, but
she's not. And goalkeeper coach Katie Baumgartner pleading for an explanation as to how that ball was taken out of Jan's hands. The Boilermakers avoid a disaster there, but you can't take the ball out of the goalkeeper's hands. They must have been ruling that she was bobbling it. That's the only way that's a legal play.
The Boilermakers able to dodge the bullet nonetheless. As that ball goes off of Maryland, will be a throw-in for Purdue. Turner, a Indiana native from the South Bend area, a senior on this Terrapin squad.
She now has 3 of the 5 shots before Maryland tonight, and good on her for not giving up on that play. She saw something and tried to make the best of it and almost did.
And for Turner, she knows that this is at least her last collegiate match in the Maryland uniform.
Pretty cool to be playing that match so close to home.
It's back and forth here in the midfield for both teams. Another nice ball there from the Terrapins, but Lambert able to get to it.
So as I was saying, it's shaping up. The Boilermakers, if they advance to the tournament, will probably be one of the bottom 3 seeds. Maddie Williams offsides, just. And I got to think they're probably not too excited about the prospect of going to second-seeded Penn State if they end up 7th.
Absolutely.
It's tough to recreate that magic.
And even if you look at currently as it stands, Ohio State in that 1 seed. Columbus is not a walk in the park either. But when you're a bottom seed, you're going to have to go on the road and beat somebody.
Absolutely. The Boilermakers have not played Ohio State this season.
Which can be a good and a bad thing.
For sure. Although it is worth pointing out, they've played well at Penn State. Get the draw this year. They lost 1-0 last year in a game that the Boilermakers fought very hard.
And I think just from a confidence standpoint, Coach Roth and his staff have done a phenomenal job of getting this group to believe they can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the country. And it doesn't matter where and it doesn't matter when. As Corollas with it. Gets it to Petrino. Petrino gets it to Griffith. Griffith able to try to get a piece of it, and that's going to be a foul on Maryland. And it's going to be a PK attempt for Griffith. Griffith slow to get up.
Yeah, that was a really hard foul, and Maryland, the Maryland player, Julian New, comes in very aggressively and chops at Griffith's leg. An easy call. New was not happy about it, but definitely a foul and a real opportunity here for Petrino.
So Petrino not able to get it. A great play by Egid.
What a save.
And it will be cleared out. And that is an opportunity where you usually see Petrino score with the big leg. But an excellent job by the Terrapins.
I hope we get a chance to take another look at that. It looked like Petrino did not get the corner she was aiming for. It was a little bit close, and the keeper guessed right. It was a great play.
And now a misplay by Musalem is going to flip possession now. So Maryland will see off of that great play if they can use that momentum to get something going in their favor.
There's a spark, and like you said, we'll take another look here. Petrino goes to the left, further away than I thought. Egid just made herself real big and guessed right. Got a paw on it. Another missed opportunity for this Purdue offense.
And Egid at 5'7" does have some length to her in goal, and she's able to stretch out and make the play.
Yeah, she's 5'7". She's got a good build, and it looks like she's got a longer reach than 5'7".
So now the Terrapins looking for the equalizer. Turner with it, near side, working against Corollas. Yeah, she'll try to beat Corollas, but there are a few players in the country that are able to get past Vanessa Corollas in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, and Turner trying to draw the cheapie there just outside the 18. Nobody was buying it.
And so it will be Jan with the kick.
Jan's distribution has improved.
And we talked about, that was one thing Coach Roth said during his weekly coaches show, that he was very impressed that even though Erica Jan was not playing much this season, how much that she came in just with the mentality of I'm going to get better each day, and that has earned her some big-time minutes in goal at the end of the season when her team really needs her to be productive. Definitely,
and with this senior class, you like for them to, determine their own fate. There have been a lot of contributions from the field players, and now Jan is definitely leaving her mark in her final season in West Lafayette.
And this senior class has been special, but this is the last class that Coach Roth didn't have a hand in, at least keeping the recruitment when he took over a couple seasons ago in his third year. And I talked about the similarities between this Maryland team and last year's Purdue team with a second-year coach, and you're going to see flashes, but at times it's going to be frustrating. There are growing pains. You are playing a lot of freshmen.
You're changing systems, you're changing styles, you're changing cultures, and you have an abbreviated season. Collegiate soccer is not long. You get about 2.5 real competitive months, maybe 3 months, but only about 20 games. Good cross by Turner.
Which only makes it even more difficult as there's a nice shot from Clark, but Jan able to make the save.
Great volley by Clark there to just really put a laser on, and Jan.
Jan not happy with her back line there, trying to get things figured out.
He kind of hung her out to dry on that. Now Clark was from distance.
And of the two goalkeepers, Erica Jan a little more fiery than Katie Luce. Luce, maybe it's just being a freshman, a little softer spoken, but Jan is not afraid to voice her opinion if she sees something or something happens that she doesn't like.
Definitely, and you love that take charge mentality between the pipes as we take another look at this. The ball had some serious movement to it.
It's a tough play, but an excellent play made by Jan as Turner with it has it poked away by Corollas.
Maryland very unhappy, and a delayed handball call there on Corollas just outside the 18-yard box. It didn't look like it was going to be given initially. I think correctly called. Corollas went to ground and definitely made contact with her hand.
So a nice opportunity as we take a second look at that. Yeah, I think that's the right call, even though it was delayed. And so now free kick opportunity for Flippins.
The entire Maryland bench was hands in the air. And when the call was made, nobody on Purdue's side made a move.
As the ball into the box, Corollas gets a piece of it.
Huge deflection there by the Purdue defense as that ball off the foot of Lewandowski looked destined for the upper 90 on the far side. That was a great strike. We've got a really good angle on it, and that deflection out for a corner kick, huge for the Purdue defense.
Lewandowski with the corner, and it will go out of play, but will be another corner opportunity for Maryland. So Maryland getting a couple cracks at it here.
They are, and set pieces, corner kicks have been a bit of a problem for this Purdue defense over the course of the season. Very important to stand tall here.
Another corner in. Ball around in the box, but Haas able to get it cleared out for the Boilermakers. At least get it out of the box.
Great position by Haas to sort of sweep that one away.
Now long ball down to Egid. Melchiori gets it out to Masellan.
So I'm looking for the long ball. Can't connect with Maddie Williams.
That was something early on in the first half. Purdue trying to test the back line of Rutgers and make them run a little bit and keep them honest. Weren't able to connect, but sometimes you still need to take the shot just to make sure that back line is awake and aware of what's going on.
Incidentally, Maddie Williams' goal in the first half, her 13th on the season, good for tying the single-season record in Purdue history. It also gave her her 100th career point, which is the most in Purdue history. Typically, when you've scored the most goals and had the most assists,
that usually, you're just trying to do the quick math in my head, that typically results in the most goal or points, just period, as well.
It's the Wayne Gretzky rule.
Yes. Talked about it before the start of the match. You can make the argument that Maddie Williams is certainly the best offensive player in Purdue program history. Maybe not necessarily the best, but the best offensive player.
Sure.
And for her to have an opportunity to go to the postseason for the first time in her career as a senior would be poetic, if you will.
Add in the redemptive factor of coming off of the knee injury, the catastrophic injury last spring, well, 2 springs ago. Just a great story, and been really fun to watch her play for 5 years. Well, 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
4 and 5. Incidentally, the all-time career goals leader that she broke, Jessica Garofalo, also had to redshirt due to injury in what was to be her senior year.
And maybe that is the secret to success for Purdue players, although you never want to see a player on any team end up with an injury, especially a season-ending one.
For sure.
But that's the beauty of the redshirt rule. You're able to get that year back and come back have a even stronger in the case of both those players. Throw in for the Boilermakers.
Williams trying to flick on for herself there. One touch from Lemire.
Too long on it. Corliss not able to keep it in play. So it will be a throw in now for Maryland.
Boy, if it's too long for Corollas, it's too long. Hard challenge from behind, and it looked like the official, Jorge Cuate, thought about going to his pocket for a card there. That was an aggressive tackle from Madison Turner.
Yeah, we've seen a couple aggressive tackles from Maryland in this second half. As Clark with the kick. And not sure who got a piece of it over there for the Boilermakers. It looks like it might have been Masalam.
She nearly cleared the protective netting behind the goal.
I think she got more of a knee on it than anything else. That popped straight up into the air.
Haas wins the aerial battle. You mentioned earlier, Connor, that this Purdue, these youngsters play a very aggressive physical style. They're not physically imposing.
No.
And you got to think a couple years of strength training, a couple years at the collegiate level of really putting in the work is going to be interesting if they keep that aggressive mentality.
Right. Well, it's the bulldog mentality, right? Not the biggest, not the biggest dog on the block, but they are physical. They play bigger than they are, and that's something as a coaching staff you love when you've got Kylie Haas, who's the tallest player of the freshmen out there, who's listed at 5'7".
5'7" and about 100 pounds. If that.
She plays much bigger and much tougher than she looks.
Yes.
Even a player like Hannah Melchiori, who I believe is listed at 5'5", which makes her probably 5'3".
Just if we're being honest.
Just if we're, depending on how that measurement is done, whether it is done in the spikes or not. But still, even though she's known as a speed player, she will get physical on the outside if need be. As there's a nice head there from somebody in the crowd back into the field of play.
That doesn't count.
Does not count.
Credit to Maryland here. They keep pushing. They've had better opportunities in the second half than they had in the first. And we mentioned their season is over after tonight, but they have a chance to finish this season with a winning record overall. They're 7-7-3 on the year. And if in your rebuilding year you're at 500, you're doing something right.
And as Griffith makes a couple moves, gets it down to Petrino. Petrino with it on the left side. She'll cross it back as Maddie Williams will get a piece of it, but not enough. As Egan will make the play.
It's a great ball to release Petrino down the corner. She got a good cross. And Maddie just didn't quite have, she didn't have an A-plus chance there.
And the one thing that I've been impressed with this Maryland team is they have come out in the second half and they've battled. And it would have been easy for a team who has struggled in conference and is having a hard time winning matches to just hang their head, pack it up, try to get out of this next 45. But as we take a second look at the Petrino cross in, just not able to connect with Melchiori on the other end. Maryland, has, like you said, has come out. They've been aggressive. They've had a couple looks. They haven't gotten them to go yet, but you're only down one goal. You've got a chance.
And a draw for them is a good result on the road in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. You got to, especially with such a young program, you have to have something to, you want something to build upon heading into the offseason.
For sure.
To be able to get a draw against the Boilermakers, a team who, with a draw, would still end up in the Big Ten tournament. That's something you can build upon heading into the spring. As Turner with it, right side.
Turner going one-on-one with Gabs Lemire.
Corliss over there as well.
Great job there by Turner to win a corner.
Turner has been the primary facilitator up front for the Terrapins. There's a couple substitutions for Maryland.
Kate, yep, go ahead.
Kate Waters and Alexis Hogarth coming in as well.
Zoe Clark comes out. Clark's been very busy tonight, as does Mary Johnston.
For the Boilermakers, it's going to be Maddie Duncan warming up on the sideline as an opportunity here for Maryland.
Every second that ball is in the 18 is an eternity if you're Erica Jan.
And the Boilermakers have struggled a little bit in this match to get balls out of the box quickly on the defensive end.
And here's a long ball connecting with Williams is Petrino, Maddie Williams.
Williams battling with New, tries to get it to Melchiori, and Boilermakers not capitalizing on a great play by Petrina. Might like to see Maddie Williams, your all-time leading goal scorer, just try to take a shot at it. Sometimes your best offensive player taking a shot even from not a great angle is still your best option on offense.
Yeah, she again trying to be selfless, and it was well defended by Maryland. There's a reason she had a bad angle. It was very well defended by New, and Williams tried to pass it off. Melchiori just never got it cleanly, and she was well defended as well. Before you know it, like you say, that great opportunity is gone.
And Melchiori, even though she's quick and she's had a very good freshman year, playing the ball up in the air to her at 5'5" is not necessarily her strength.
Not a winning proposition.
Right, she's not going to beat a lot of defensemen as we've got a Boilermaker down.
Sarah Clark looks like the Purdue player on the ground, and she's holding her head. It's
not a good sign.
Never desirable.
Not sure what happened.
Medical team is being held right now by the head official.
As her teammates are
make sure see if she's
her, and they're gonna bring the medical team out, so there will have to be a substitution. Clark still on the ground.
It's a pretty good collision. Clark, let's see if we can get a look at it here, and she may have caught an elbow.
Yeah, it'd be
an inadvertent elbow in the back of the head.
Turner going up. Yeah, it looks like she might have, like you said, just caught a piece of the elbow of Turner. Of course, she's being attended to.
With the constant attention and renewed attention on concussions and head injuries and all of that, things that American sports fans know from football. It's a thing in all sports, and so this is a real thing to be taken seriously.
Well, and especially in soccer, it's a sport where concussions sometimes happen more often because of just the nature of aerial balls, and you, unlike football, American football, you don't have protection on your head. There is no helmet there to protect you.
It looked like Clark was sort of playing with her left ear a little bit. That may have been the point of contact, which would make sense with her back to to the offensive player.
So Clark will have to come off. Dana Williams will check in for her.
Haven't seen a lot of Dana Williams this season.
Williams, a Naperville, Illinois native, the 5'5" junior. Still somebody who the last 2 seasons has seen quite a bit of time. Always good if you're the coaching staff for the Boilermakers to be able to go to the bench and bring in an experienced defender.
For sure.
Even if it's just in spot minutes.
She rarely came off the field her freshman year.
So it will be Terrapins ball.
Drop ball given by Purdue to Maryland. Good sportsmanship there.
So with 21:15 left to go in the match, the Boilermakers with the 1-0 lead thanks to Maddie Williams in the 33rd minute of the first half, able to put one in the bottom right corner of the net. But for Purdue, they've had a number of chances to add on a couple goals, and they haven't. You do wonder if those missed opportunities will come back to haunt them if Maryland's able to squeak one past the defense.
I think we've noticed here, Sarah Griffith just tried to do it again. The Boilermakers here in the second half have relied almost exclusively on long ball attacks, trying to release 1 or 2 offensive players, and it's not a happenstance, it's a strategic thing. I don't know if they've seen something in the Maryland defense or if Coach Rolfe is just reluctant to try and get numbers forward in order to guard against the equalizer going against him. So not a lot of buildup from this Purdue offense in the second half.
That is a relatively young back line for the Terrapins. 2 sophomores and a junior back there. So the Boilermakers, especially with a team in Purdue that is still pretty young, most of their experience though up front in Petrino and Williams, and they've not been afraid to try and test a young back line and give them some stress.
It's Maddie Williams once again. 1v3, now 2v3.
Melchiori though coming down the right side as Petrino tries to thread the needle.
That's Carlos doing what she does.
And now Melchiori showing off the blazing speed with a chance. Another great save by Agid as she's able to get 2 hands on it and then trap the ball. That was a golden opportunity for Melchiori. As we take a second look at it, you see the speed right there. That's why Purdue loves her.
Away.
And a great look, but just an even better defensive play there.
That was a BTN standout quality play right there.
Absolutely.
From Agid is that one should score about 100 times out of 100.
And Agid has had 2 or 3 unbelievable saves for the Terrapins in this match. As Purdue, another opportunity goes by the wayside.
That's 3 or 4 golden chances.
Purdue 14 shots, only 1 goal to show for it.
Job by Griffith. Possessing there and earning a throw.
Moe's sending that out of play.
Brady Riley enters for Melchiori.
Of course, in the second half of collegiate soccer, you can substitute at will. So Melchiori getting a bit of a breather. Not uncommon for Coach Rolfe to bring Melchiori out for 5-10 minutes or so and then bring her back for the home stretch. Riley, a sophomore, somebody who played big minutes as a freshman last year.
Dana Williams. I like that move. She stopped it and moved forward rather than dropping it back to the keeper.
And if you're Maryland, you do wonder, do you try to test Dana Williams a little bit in this back line? Because Purdue does like to rotate quite a bit, but the back line is something that Coach Rolfe usually stays pretty consistent with. And as I say that, you see it on your screen, Sarah Clark coming back into the game. So obviously Sarah is okay.
Good to see.
great to see with the Boilermakers.
Throw to a wide open Maddie Williams.
Throw in now for Corollas and the Boilermakers.
I don't care where it is in the field. Maddie Williams should probably never have 10 yards to herself.
I would agree with that. Even if Maddie Williams is standing on the sideline, you're probably still better off to put a defender at least within arm's distance of her. Flippin's able to get that up. Counter-attack opportunity for the Terrapins as Turner with it, far side.
Turner, nice job of staying on side while giving herself some space.
Christic not able to get much on that ball. So Griffith working with it. Trying to find Riley, but just too strong. Petrino with it. Petrino taking the shot.
She's got that shot in her arsenal.
And just a little off the mark. That was kind of the thought that I had right there is you saw her kind of stutter, and you could tell that she was lining it up, trying to find the angle.
And Egid just clears it out, clears the danger, and gives up the corner.
Boilermakers, their fourth corner kick of the afternoon or evening.
Yeah, when Andrea Petrino takes that stutter step,
you know.
Duck and cover.
Yep. So Clark and Griffith staying there for the corner. It looks like the Boilermakers going with a set piece here. Purdue has been pretty good off these set pieces. Petrino with it. Puts it into Haas. Haas pops it up in the air. Riley, and that's going to be a pretty easy call as Brady Riley colliding with Egid.
For sure. Riley's going to complain about it because that's what you do, but you can't collide with the goalkeeper and expect there not to be a whistle. It was an interesting drive to the far side. Haas got the head on it. I'm thinking that was designed to be a pop-up header for players coming in. Interesting play.
Yeah, I think anytime, like we've said, anytime you can keep the ball in the box, it's a threat as Griffith's going to get tagged for the foul.
Under 15 to go.
Boilermakers holding on 1-0.
Haas taking no chances. Selham and Haas playing keep away in the air.
Purdue more than happy just to continue to wind down the clock. As that's a pretty physical play, and that's going to be a foul. I believe that's on Flippins.
Yeah, it looks like Flippins is going to get booked as well. That's the yellow card. And Kylie Haas took a forearm shiver to the back.
Yep. Yeah, that's a play that's going to hurt tomorrow.
Yep. And it looked like it might have been to her head and neck area. Haas, to no one's surprise, just pops right up, shakes it off. Good work by Riley and Masellam. Right back in Turner's grill, forces the errant kick and out of bounds. Couple subs coming in for the Boilermakers. Also, Mary Johnston returns for Maryland. For Purdue, Brianna Robbins comes back in. Looks like Gabby Lemaire as well in for Maddie Duncan. And I believe it was Petrino that came off. Again, a long ball release to Maddie Williams.
Williams puts it in the back of the net. Maddie Williams for the second time in this match, and right there at the long ball, perfection for the Boilermakers and the all-time goal scorer in program history, adds another one to the count. Excellent execution there by the Boilermakers.
14 on the year, the most ever for Purdue Boilermaker, and you can see there's the long ball releasing Williams, and she is not going to waste another opportunity. She kicked that thing so hard it bounced off the net and back into play. A straight and true strike, and Maddie Williams, goal number 14 on the year. Purdue leads 2-0.
That gives the Boilermakers a pretty comfortable lead with 12 and a half left to play in this match. Was able to get control of it. Just going to let it continue to roll. And then Corals will be a throw-in for the Terrapins. But as it stands right now, it does not matter, Corey, with the Boilermakers up 2 goals. However, should Maryland come back, as it stands right now, with 10 minutes left to play in the first half, the Iowa Hawkeyes up 1-0 against the Fighting Illini. And, of course, if Purdue loses this match and Iowa wins, Iowa would knock the Boilermakers out of the Big Ten tournament.
Right, they got that head-to-head win about a week ago. Foul against the Terrapins on Williams there.
But, of course, as it stands right now, that will not matter. The Boilermakers only need to win or tie to get in. And Maddie Williams with 2 more goals tonight after a 2-goal performance against Penn State. And Corey, I think most people would tell you 4 total goals in 2 games. Not a bad start as we take a second look at it. Great shot here from our camera crew, and that's just, you can't really draw it up any better than that.
That was perfect, and Maddie kept herself on sides just barely, and that's why by the time she came into frame, she was 2 paces ahead of the defender because she timed it so perfectly.
Maddie Williams will often get a lot of offsides calls because she's not afraid to try and test the boundary of what you're going to consider onside and what you're going to consider off.
Definitely.
And right there, like you said, just barely stays onside, but is able to make the opportunity count for Purdue.
And when you're as good as she is, you can't give up just barely onsides. Lemaire trying to draw the foul, doesn't do so.
Lewandowski loses control of it, and some physical play there between Robbins and Lewandowski, but it's going to be a throw-in for the Boilermakers.
Good job by Robbins staying strong there against the pressure. A turnover there would have been a very bad look.
It's cleared away by the Terrapins. That was new. So 10 minutes left as Andrea Petrino checks back in. For Brady Riley. So Petrino getting a little bit of a breather. Lemire gets it to Griffith. Griffith's going to take the shot. It's curving in off the crossbar.
What a shot by Sarah Griffith.
A lot of movement on that.
Man.
Thought it was going to have a chance.
So, well,
it did.
Missed by about 4 inches. Let's take another look from ground level. See, that sucker is just, you know, if she's 6 inches further out, that's a goal. That was a great strike.
Corey, I think that the Boilermakers might lead the Big Ten in shots that find some piece of the post and don't go in.
Yes. And imagine this offensively prolific team would have, I'd say, probably 8 or 10 more goals.
Yes.
But for a couple inches.
If you gave them a yard, they would easily have about 3 more goals. As right there is a foul on Lewandowski. Robbins with it, and she's just going to knock it out of play as the Boilermakers continue to wind down the clock.
quick turnaround for this Boilermaker squad. If this result holds, the quarterfinals are Sunday. The location to be determined with tonight's results.
Almost everybody in the Big Ten in action tonight as the regular season winds down. 6 teams have punched their ticket coming into tonight's matches. Just take a look. You've got Ohio State in first place currently, Penn State in second, Northwestern in third, Minnesota in fourth, Rutgers in fifth, Wisconsin then in sixth, and then as it stood coming into tonight's match, Nebraska and Purdue in the 7 and 8 spots respectively. Michigan fell to Rutgers earlier today. That knocks them out of the Big Ten tournament running. And like I said, Iowa with a 1-goal lead in the first half against the Illini. But should Nebraska and Purdue take care of their business on their end, Iowa will miss out on the tournament.
It'd be a heartbreaker for the Hawkeyes to miss out because they got a draw with Nebraska and a victory over Purdue. Just couldn't get the other results they needed. A very, very cool thing for this Boilermaker side if they happen to make it past the quarters. The semifinals and the Big Ten Championship are very close to home at Grand Park down in Westfield, Indiana. Neutral site tournament. The Big Ten's been doing that for a few years now. It hasn't mattered for Purdue because they haven't been to the tournament in a few years.
Right.
But with that carrot sort of dangling out there, there's a lot for this team to play for tonight, Sunday, and potentially beyond.
And when you have the offensive potential that the Boilermakers have, you have to feel like even though you will have to go play a tough road game, you got to feel confident about what you can do and your chances to make a run in the Big Ten.
Definitely, you're in every game with this kind of offensive firepower. You haven't been blown out at all this year. Every loss, save for the Minnesota game, is a 1-goal loss. That one was a 2-goal difference.
Well, and the Boilermakers have only been shut out once this season. We talked about that Minnesota match. Other than that, they've put at least one on the board. This is an offensive team that if your idea of your game plan is we're going to win 1-0 against Purdue, that's going to be tough. Purdue's not going to be kept off the board most nights. As Robbins loses control of it for Purdue.
And Coach Roth was speaking earlier this week on his coach's show about, there's definitely work to do still, but when the selection committee gets together to talk about who's going to the NCAA tournament, the Boilermakers are in the discussion right now. RPI is in the range. A couple more positive results, and it'll inch up a little bit.
Yeah, with the win tonight against a Maryland team that has struggled in the Big Ten, but like you said,
they're still a top 100 RPI team.
They're a top 100 RPI team. They're a team that was solid in non-conference. And for the Boilermakers, especially if you're able to pick up a victory on the road, that's going to be a foul on Petrino.
That's a tough call to go against Petrino. She was just playing strong. Didn't look of ill intent at all to me. She won the challenge.
And the Terrapins giving it right back to the Boilermakers. But yeah, for Purdue, as far as the NCAA goes, their hopes go for postseason play in the NCAA tournament. If you're able to go, whether it be to Ohio State or to Penn State, and come away with the victory, or maybe even just a close loss, that might be enough to get you into the tournament.
Sure, if you can climb up to 6th and get a trip to Northwestern, that's a game that the Boilermakers played well this year. Well enough to win 2-0. So, if you can get up to the 6th seed, which is, you need some things to fall, that's out of your hands.
Right.
But if that happens, you're playing a familiar opponent you've got to win over.
Well, I think that Coach Roth and this team would tell you that they just want a shot.
Yeah.
They want to get, just give them the foot in the door, let them be in the dance and see what they can do. Nice play there by Ludowski.
Robbins pokes it out of bounds.
Clark to throw it in for Maryland. Under 3 minutes to play now. Purdue, the 2-0 lead.
Turner drops it to Clark. Good ball. Just couldn't quite materialize on the back end. Macellum will clear it out off of the defender. That one will bounce off the train.
That will make the Reamer Club unhappy.
They're going to have to polish that thing up a little bit. Get Austin Robbins over there. Polish that thing up a little bit. Quartet of Boilermakers waiting to check in. Brianna Robbins trying to put herself in the score table, and
they're going to say a play on there. That's an interesting. Is Jalen Flippins running over Brianna Robbins?
That seems situational to me.
Yeah, that was interesting no call, but we play on. 1:40 left.
Haas with a karate kick to clear that ball out. Maddie Williams with what might be her final possession of the night.
That ball's going to go out of play, and we're going to see the throw in now for Maryland. Some physical play between Clark and Robbins. And Lemire, Robbins end up both on the ground. That's going to be a foul on
That
Lemire.
felt like Gabby Lemire standing up for her teammates to me.
That might have been the case. Lemire, a senior, she's understands that sometimes you have to take the foul. As this ball in on the ground, and Jan able to get to it, but another dangerous ball into the box for Maryland.
And those are the things that come back to bite you next game.
As now with 25 seconds left in the 2017 regular season, Jan is just going to put one high into the air and out of play. So the Boilermakers improve to 10-6-2, 5-4-1 in Big Ten play, and for the first time since 2008, they clinch the berth to the Big Ten championship, to the postseason. As the final score here from West Lafayette, Purdue 2, Maryland 0. You can see the celebration. The Boilermakers excited for Maddie Williams as she tacks on 2 more goals to what's been an illustrious career here at Purdue. And the Boilermakers will find out who they will go, where they will go on Sunday as they get ready to try and make a postseason run.
Erica Jan gets the clean sheet in her final regular season collegiate start. Good for her. That was a couple challenging saves made by Jan. A game effort by this Maryland side. They were in it really right until the last 10 minutes or so, and in large part to their goalkeeper, Rachel Egad, who's got another year left, and she's fun to watch. Great game for the Boilermakers, a great win, and like you said, they await their fate.